Oh man, did we have craziness last week. Is anything going to be normal this year? Probably not. But that's just what makes football exciting. Let's get into Week 10. What's going on, guys? Six Report here, back to another video. Today I'm making my picks for Week 10, and I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's just jump right in. Thursday night, the Raiders taking on the Broncos. For the Broncos, they just squeezed out a win last week. Just squeezed out a win against the Houston Texans. They got the job done, and they're in first place of the division. Meanwhile, the Raiders, heartbreaking. Just heartbreaking. They go to overtime against Jacksonville. They get a touchdown, and they could have tied it. They decided to go for the win. They just didn't get it. And right now for the Raiders, I really don't know what's going to happen going forward. I actually don't. I am going to go with the Broncos in this game, though. So that much I can say. Ooh, we get another international game. Atlanta takes on Indianapolis. For Indianapolis, they made a big trade. They just got Sauce Gardner from the New York Jets. They gave up a lot to get him. A.D. Mitchell plus 2 first-round picks. But if it works out, could be big for Indianapolis. Meanwhile, for the Falcons, really? Just, really? Atlanta, will you ever get out of your own way? Okay? You come back, and you miss the extra point. Yeah. That's bad. That's just bad. Indianapolis, just please, put them out of their misery and rebound from your loss against Pittsburgh last week. New England taking on Tampa Bay. For Tampa Bay, they're coming off a bye, and they've suffered from injuries, but they're still winning games. I mean, they are in first place of the NFC South, and just keep piling the wins. That's all I really have to say on this. Not much more to say about Tampa Bay. For New England, there's a lot to say. Drake May playing good football. New England, they just keep piling up the wins. They have won 6 in a row. Does the streak continue? No. I got Tampa Bay winning this game. New Orleans taking on Carolina. For Carolina, they have a winning record. What the heck? And they just took down the Green Bay Packers. If Carolina can just find some consistency, they may actually make the playoffs. Though it is going to be a tight squeeze with this conference. There's a lot of good teams in the NFC, but somebody's got to fall off, and for the Panthers' sake, I hope it's not them. Meanwhile, for New Orleans, yeah, it's just a rough year. But Tyler Shunk in his first start, not too bad. Let's see how he plays going forward. Give me Carolina. Giants taking on the Chicago Bears. For the Giants, I think all the fans, all the players, and even probably the executive and coaches are just waiting for the season to be over and figure out what's next for the Giants. But I will continue to say this. Jackson Dart is playing really good football. So that first-round pick that they used on him looks like it was well worth it. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bears, they got the win against the Bengals. It was a little bit of a stressful situation for them because they had a 14-point lead that they blew, but then they got it. Then they got the lead back. You know what? Doesn't matter. They got the win last week. That's all that matters. Give me the Bears taking this game. Jacksonville takes on Houston. For Houston, I just can't get a read on this team. It seems like they have a good defense, but there's still something that needs to be worked on with their offense. And C.J. Stroud was knocked out of the game last week. No idea if he's going to be able to play. If he can't go, we'll have Davis Mills. I actually forgot Davis Mills was still in Houston. Weird. Meanwhile, for Jacksonville, I just can't trust them. I really can't. This is a team that looks good and then looks bad. And against the Raiders was the antithesis of that. Because they were able to score 30 points, but they gave up 29, and that game should not have gone into overtime at all. And yet it did. I think I got to go with Houston on this one. Even with Davis Mills starting, I just can't trust Jacksonville right now. I really can't. Buffalo takes on Miami. For Miami, I am so sorry. I'm sorry, Dolphin fans. I really am. This is just not good right now. The Dolphins are just not a good team, and I don't know what the future holds for them. I really don't. And Tua, he's got to play better. It's about as simple as that. He's got to stop throwing interceptions. Meanwhile, for the Buffalo Bills, they've hit their stride, And when they play against the Patriots again later this year, I would expect a much different result. Give me the Bills beating the Dolphins. Baltimore taking on Minnesota, the battle of the two purple teams. Minnesota looked rejuvenated last week against the Lions, able to beat them on the road, and J.J. McCarthy played one hell of a game. Meanwhile, the Ravens got the win against the Dolphins, but it wasn't necessarily that the Ravens dominated the Dolphins. They just took advantage of the Dolphin miscues because the Dolphins still were able to move the ball, and I'm very, very concerned about this Raven defense. Even after the trade deadline, didn't really do a whole lot. Yes, they picked up Draymond Jones, but I just don't know if that's going to be enough for this team because they still don't have that much of a pass rush. I got to go Minnesota over Baltimore on this one. Cleveland takes on the New York Jets. For the Jets, I mean, they accumulate a lot of picks with not only the Sauce Gardner trade, but also trading Quinnen Williams to the Dallas Cowboys. Wow. Those two being gone from New York, it's kind of telling of what's going on in New York right now. And for the Jets, I don't know what's going to happen with them going forward, but what I do know is they have picks. Now they need to use them properly. Meanwhile, for the Cleveland Browns, there's not much more I need to say other than Myles Garrett gets 5 sacks in a game and you still lose. That's all I really need to say. But Cleveland gets the win. Arizona takes on Seattle. This is going to be a divisional matchup for Seattle, coming off a Sunday night win against Washington. Not much I really have to say other than they're hitting their stride. Meanwhile, for the Arizona Cardinals, with Jacoby Brissett as the quarterback in the Monday night game against Dallas, played really well, and you really start to see what this Cardinal team can do. And Marvin Harrison Jr. might have had the best game of his career so far. It's going to be a tough one if they can play like that for Seattle, but I still think they pull off the win against the Cardinals. Detroit takes on the Washington Commanders. For the Commanders, not only did they lose on Monday night, but it looks like Jaden Daniels is going to be out for a while. Again, he dislocated his elbow. I'm not sure if it's season ending. I got to look that up again. I'll probably have a note right here. But that's not good for a team that's already struggled with injury, and now their quarterback's injured yet again. Meanwhile, for Detroit, they need a rebound. All right, after that game against Minnesota, they just need a rebound. I say they get the job done, gets the win over the Commanders. Rams taking on the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers, I mean, they just keep losing players, and they're still winning. That's kind of insane, the fact that they lose their guys and yet still end up winning games. But they are facing off against this Rams team that is really good on their own right. And Matthew Stafford the last 2 weeks has just been out of his mind. Give me the Rams over the 49ers. Sunday night we got Pittsburgh taking on the Chargers. For the Chargers, they got the win last week, but Joe Alt is now out for the season after having a high ankle sprain. It's just not going right for the Chargers. Yes, they have a winning record, but at the same time, they're just getting injured. And there's only so much they're going to be able to do if their guys keep getting hurt. And now you're going up against a Pittsburgh team that had 6 turnovers against the Colts, found their mojo on defense again, and you're going there with a depleted offensive line. This just screams Pittsburgh victory every which way. And that's what I'm going with. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. And our Monday night game is going to be Philadelphia taking on the Green Bay Packers. Right now, probably the 2 best teams in the NFC, but the Packers are going to be coming off a loss against the Carolina Panthers, and that's something you really want to have when you're going up against the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that, while they have been a little inconsistent, actually a lot inconsistent, the passing game is still not where you want it to be, but right now they have the number 1 seed in the NFC if the season ended today. So that's pretty big for them. I say they hold on to that. They get the win over the Packers. Alright guys, those were my picks for Week 10. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And for the trade deadline, who do you think won? Who do you think lost? And who do you think didn't do as much as they probably should have done? Alright guys, I'll see you next time.